Hello everyone, let us now discuss today's LeetCode POTD count servers that communicate. So here we are given with a m by n matrix which is called a grid, and 1 means that the cell there is a server and 0 means there is no server. So let us take this example 1001. Here in the same row, return the number of servers that communicate with any server. Two servers are said to communicate if they are on the same row or on the same column. So here in this row there are no servers which can be communicated, and in this row there are no servers which can be communicated. There is only one server or a computer which is isolated from the rows and also columns. Same with this thing. And here if I take this example 1011, if you see clearly, here I have this server, right? By row I doesn't have any server. If you see, row or the same column, two servers are said to communicate. So there is no server in the same row, but in the same column I have a server. So these two can be communicated. So 2 will be our answer. But wait, this server has completed its execution, and if you see, for this server there is another server which can be communicated. But wait, you have already took this to, right? So what I do is I will take only ij, this cell, and see whether I have any row, any server in the same row or any server in the same column. So I will increment the count by 1 because I have the server in the same column. Now let me take this ij here and let me check whether I have a server in the same row, or in the same column. So I have this server in same row and also same column. And if I have either row or column, then I can increment. First you have at this one, and second you have at this cell. Now here there is no server, so there cannot be a count will be increased. Now let me come here and check whether I have a server in the same column. No, I doesn't have any server in the same column. Now I'll be coming to the same row, and I have a server which is in the same row, so I'll be incrementing the count. But there will be two approaches. The first approach is the approach I said here. I will be having this computer or server, and I'll be checking if this row is having more than one number of servers, or if this column is having more than one number of servers. So wait a second, here you have this server, or here you have this server, here you have server, or else here you have server, here you have server, right? I will go here and check whether this row I'll be having this count. Here I have a count of 2, here I have a count of 1, here I have a count of 2. Now in these columns I have a count of 1 number of servers, I have a count of 2, I have a count of 2. Now for this server, this can't be communicated with itself, so it need another server which will be having in the same row or in the same column. So I'll check if the row is having count is greater than 1, like 2 or 3, then I will increment my answer, right? So for this server can be communicated, so the answer will be incremented. And I will check whether there is a server here. No, right? I'll skip this and I will get to here. Now I will check whether the row, this column or this row having count of more than 1, then I will increment my answer. I will not increment the answer for 2 times if I have row and sorry column and a row which is greater than 2. I will only increment for once because it can be communicated. This computer or server can be communicated either by row or by column. That is the first approach. You will be getting the code in the few seconds, but let me say, let me discuss about DFS approach. I think there are more than two approaches for this question, but for the DFS approach, you have this one, you have this zero, you have a one here, you have a one here. So when I encounter a one by traversing, I will go for a DFS. Now the DFS will make this this one as 0. After that, it will call a DFS for this and it will check whether this row is having a 1. If so, it will call the DFS for that cell and it will also check whether this row is having a 1. Yes, it is having a 1. Now it will call the DFS. So in the DFS, the first thing it will do is marking it as visited. So the row and column will be made as 0. The cell at row and column will be made as 0. Now you got this 1, right? So if you got a 1, that means you have a server below in the same column. So the answer will be incremented by 1. Answer will be incremented by 1. Now this will be called for DFS. After that, as I said, in the first step in the DFS is marking it as visited because we already visited this server. Now after that, you got this, you doesn't have any columns or rows here, so you will be going through this and you have another server, so it will be incremented by 1. So this is the way we'll solve this question by using either of the two approaches. So this is how you solve the DFS and this is how you solve by using, here I'll be using a vector row and for this I'll be using a vector column. That's it.